So our team's project is to translate a housing application from English to Chinese for large request organization. So the reason why we want to do this project is because there has been an increasing Chinese residents who are disabled uh, either mentally or physically. So we want to provide this translated Chinese version of housing application to better serve the local community members. And so we're going to talk about the lesson that we learned from our project.
One of our top considerations was our style guide. In our style guide, we decided that we wanted our translation to be professional and consistent, and we took into consideration our audience, which is Chinese people with intellectual or developmental disabilities and their families. And we wanted to avoid the use of any jargon while also making sure that it was not simple to the point where it was condescending on them. And we also decided to implement QA and regex checks in order to check for consistencies in dates and to also translate the punctuation properly, because Chinese and English use different punctuation. In terms of terminology, we decided to use the formal Chinese word for you, and we also decided to use a specific word for intellectual and developmental disabilities that was respectful.
When we did our pre-flight and first looked at this document, we noticed there were some issues. We realized the author hit the spacebar too many times and hit the return key a lot. So we went ahead and reformatted that so that the text was centered without hitting the return key multiple times. The hardest issue, though, was this table at the end, which we can see that Lars Wavecrest's Spanish version struggled with too. The formatting for this is different than the English. And so we ended up reformatting this as a table rather than text boxes. The client might look at this and think that it looks a little different than the original in Word format, even though it looks identical in PDF format. However, it's a lot easier to have a table for Trados, we realized, as well as it's more beneficial for screen readers, since some of these applicants might have visual impairments that could benefit from clear formatting. The biggest issue, though, that we were alerted to in the pseudo translation is that the author hit the underscore key multiple times for the fill in the blank sections, which Trados registered as material to translate. And we'll have more on this later.
For glossary, we found out that there are inconsistent terms in the source text. We have to address that so that our readers or audience won't be confused. For example, the same event was described in different names, such as Saturday night gathering and community gathering. And the names of the condition for applicants is described as intellectual disability, and then in another case, developmental disability. So we address these issues in our glossary. We built it initially in Excel, and then we run it in glossary converter for our term base.
Okay, when we finish everything and we want to build a translation memory for our clients, so which path we should go? Should we go paragraph-based or sentence-based? Let's see, we use sentence-based first. As you can see here, place of birth and the following underlines are separated. This is not what I really want. So we go to another path, which is paragraph based. So we create another paragraph TM specifically for this project. And then there you go. You can see name, following underlines, date of birth, underlines. Those two are stick together. That's a perfect match. So let's see, probably paragraph-based PM is more suitable for Chinese, as well as we have a table in our document. But also, it's very important to notice that before building a TM, it's crucial to do the pre-flight to manage the content, because if we do not do that, you will see here is a mess. which is not an ideal TN for any future project.
Lastly, though, we realized that even with the translation memory pre-flight that we did, we still had issues with all of these underscoring in the translation memory. And we realized that actually a better way to fix this would be to replace all of these underscores with underlined spaces. We can see in this kind of test that we did that with an underscore, Trados registers that as material to translate, whereas with underlined spacing, Trados skips over that. So that would have been a better way to avoid gunking up the TM and could have made more clear matches.
So our takeaways from this project is first to set the tone in our own style guide, and secondly to be inconsistent terms is the source text that needs to be addressed. And thirdly, paragraph alignment is more suitable for Chinese and for forms. And last one, underlined spacing is your friend for filling the blanks. So thank you.